guys, how's it going? Welcome to this week's recap video. It's been an interesting week, productive, but the weather has been a little strange. We got our first snowfall of the year, which I don't remember the last time we got snow like that before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it seems like an early time to get snow.
And it was, I would say, about an inch.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit more. It did warm up that day, and we were expecting rain, like from about 11 in the morning that day on, but it stayed cold enough, and it actually snowed again a little bit in the afternoon. We had a fire going inside. It was beautiful. And today it is blustery and gray and just
We've got the concrete guys out doing the footings for the posts.
For the pillars on either side of the gate. I don't know if they'll actually be able to construct the pillars this fall yet or this winter. Might be spring, but at least the next step is being worked on right now, which is exciting. Yes. Also, other exciting things before we jump into the videos for this next week. We will be taking Thanksgiving off from posting. That's announcement number 1, which we normally do, holidays. The other thing is our Black Friday sale, which will run from Black Friday through Tuesday, December the 3rd. I have all my notes sent from Ken on my phone so I do not mess up. Now, by the time the Black Friday sale hits, the pink kneeling pads will be back in stock, and we are doing a limited edition run of purple kneeling pads, and those will also be in stock and on sale. So here are all the sale items. 20% off Olive Garden Answer products, so merch, stuff like that.
Augers, kneeling pads.
Yeah, including augers, kneeling pads, and merch. 25% off all Greenstock planters and accessories that go along with that. 15% off almost everything else in the store. Also, the text/email subscribers will get early access to Black Friday deals, including early access to the pink and purple kneeling pads. So early access begins tomorrow, Monday, November 25th. So you can sign up from the link in the description if you want to, and then you'll be able to get in on the sale early. I think that is it.
And stuff does sell out.
I'm expecting the purple. I mean, you never know, right?
Yeah.
But I'm expecting the purple to go pretty quick. I would pick purple, green, and then probably purple.
Really?
And then probably pink.
Yeah.
And then maybe blue, and then red.
Well, it's funny. Red was the original color of your, the kneeling pad that started the whole thing.
But it was the only one they had.
Yeah, it's true.
So, had they had a different option, I might have picked a different color.
Right.
Usually I'll pick green in anything before I will, anything else for a garden-related item. But, okay. Anything else I need to?
I don't think so.
Okay. Let's just jump into the first video, which was potting amaryllis and a couple Christmas light projects. So I bought 6 amaryllis bulbs this year. I potted 3 of them that were in kind of the red family up separately in separate containers. They're all together though on the same table inside. And then I potted 3 of the most gorgeous white amaryllis up in this blue and white pot that I put on the table in the landing near the blue and white tree that my mom and I just did. It looks really nice. I used some branches from outside, some Arctic Fire Yellow dogwood stems in with the white amaryllis, and then I used some pussy willow branches in with the red amaryllis. And then I put the tree up on the balcony, which is currently laying over on its side because of all the wind. I haven't anchored it down yet. And then the 2 deer, which we got to see and make use of the conduit that you had installed, which is so great. Because we had to run an extension cord from the back of the barn underneath the driveway to the area where I wanted the deer to be. It was just perfect.
I saw somebody saying, why don't you just run power there? And that's exactly why the conduit is there. It's really cheap to just when you have a blank slate to just run a trencher through an area and lay the conduit in the ground. So the idea is probably eventually we'll have power run, but you don't need to run the power right away in case you don't need to.
Do we need to now? I mean,
maybe not.
If we leave the extension cord there,
right?
Then you can just plug into that the next time you want to put your deer out. If you or whatever lights you might be working with. Emily's Garden said, quick question, now that the cord is in the conduit, can it just stay there indefinitely? Yes. Or will you take it out when you take down the Christmas lights?
I can't imagine that there's any safety concern about just leaving an extension cord.
Would you want to tape up the end so moisture doesn't get into
Yeah, you probably would.
A cover. You can get covers for those, right?
Yeah.
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 Nicole said, how are your pussy willows about to bloom? I have pink ones, but I thought they were all spring bloomers. They are. Well, they're like a late winter bloomer for us. And ours, the catkins are ready to burst, but they won't because they just don't have enough heat. They'll kind of just stay. The buds are ready. And when it starts to heat up in the spring, they'll open up. The ones that we took inside, I actually haven't looked at them in the last day or 2, but they are probably open at this point because of the heat inside our house. Jennifer said, do you have any tips on picking a healthy bulb? I just had some shipped from Eden Brothers and they have some spots that don't appear healthy for me. not being an expert, and one of the bulbs feels less firm. They definitely aren't as green as yours either. Being an investment, I just want to make sure. Well, I'm not an expert on picking out amaryllis bulbs either, but I know that I've had lots of amaryllis bulbs in the past that have had little spots on the side. I think largely, unless you're seeing like mold or something squished, like real squishy, I wouldn't worry too much about it. I've planted lots of them that have had that kind of thing. Now, the one that you said isn't as firm, like if it's egregious, I would probably let it set out for a little while before you put it in soil, like see if it'll dry up a little bit. Or you can plant it and then just wait until you see growth. Once you see growth, then start watering it. But until then, just let it stay dry in the soil. In fact, I think that's what a lot of people do anyway. Like they might water it in and then wait till they see something emerge from the bulb, and then they'll pick up water from that point. They can look gnarly though, those bulbs.
Can they?
Yeah, they can. Parents get some really nice ones in at the garden center, and I think that's the difference between like getting them at a box store or from a source that you're not really sure of, or from a source where you can't actually see them and pick them out for yourself. It can be hard that way. Shirley said, very nice. I love the branches with the bulbs. How old does the tree need to be before you're able to harvest the twigs? I usually wait till mine are at least a size to where I won't notice what I took. You know, a lot of times I can cut from that pussy willow and I'm like, I can't even tell I cut anything out of that, which is great. You went on to say, I planted a purple pussy willow this year and it survived the terrible dry summer here in zone 7A. It's only 2 feet tall at the season end, so I know I'm going to mulch well and keep up with watering this winter. I probably would leave it alone if it's only 2 feet tall. That's not very big. I don't think it would be super detrimental to cut a few branches if it's got a lot of them, but if it was me, I'd probably hold off, wait till it puts on a little more size. N. Quenzer said, is there an internet source for sheet moss? I have looked at all my local garden centers. We have it, don't we?
Oh yeah, do we?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ken got some in.
We will be the internet source.
Ah.
Super moss, sheet moss. It's great stuff. Sammy said, might be a silly question, but why is it important not to have air pockets? It's important because if there is an air pocket in your, like around the root ball of your plant, it can actually dry the roots of your plant out quite badly to where it could hurt your plant or even kill it if the air pocket's too big. And it's weird how water works in soil sometimes. Like sometimes it won't break down that air pocket. Sometimes it'll find its channel around and it won't like fix itself. So that's why like we really pack down around everything and make sure that we've eliminated air pockets. Elizabeth said, I didn't know you could use artificial tree outside. Are the lights rated for indoor or outdoor on artificial trees, or do you have to look for a brand that is? Nope, pretty sure mine's rated for indoor, but I don't care. I don't use it inside anymore. So it can now be an outside tree until the lights die. And then I'll just put outdoor lights on it. Be good to go. Betsy said, I came across a video showing your installation of the weather station. Do you guys still use it? Has it been helpful?
I liked it when it was up. We still haven't set it up permanently. We'll probably do that
right
shortly.
Around that little well house would probably be a real good spot for it.
It's still working. It's just been sitting in the shade, so it's not like it's not reporting correctly. I know it's not reporting correctly. So yeah, we just need to get out there with an auger and just drill a hole.
That's it.
And shove it in the hole. That's kind of almost all we need to do.
Oh.
So I don't really know why we haven't done that. Maybe some things like that I almost kind of, because I know a lot of people have asked about it, and I'm a little hesitant to go out and just do some things when I'm like, oh, maybe we should include that in the video.
Story of my life.
Yeah, it's really tough when that's what you do for a living.
Yeah, I'm like, I have to film this because I promised I would film when I can't just go out and do this job. I have to, or if I do, like if we have it's becoming a little less rare, but it was so rare for even like on a weekend for me to be able to go putter. Now that the kids are getting a little bit older, I feel like I have more freedom to go do that sort of thing, but I almost feel like I can't because it's just like, oh, hey, bud, you got your homework? You could use that box as a desk if you wanted to. Yeah.
Or just the ground.
Anyway, I don't know where I was at with that. Oh, just talking about how, like, even when I do go out and putter, I think, oh, maybe you guys might want to see this project, or I don't know, you get afflicted with those thoughts. Okay, next video was moving plants in for the winter and planting garlic. I still hadn't planted garlic. It just evaded me. Like, I thought about it a couple of times, but it was like right around Dreamstream, which was the first week of October, rather. And that's about usually when I plant. And so, everything surrounded that. The weeks prior, it was hugely busy getting ready for it. And then the week after, it was kind of like catch up, trying to catch up. It took me like 4 weeks to catch back up on video, like getting on top of video production. Remember that?
Yeah.
I worked every day, like every weekend, trying to like get video numbers back up so that we didn't have to skip days for you guys. I think we had to skip one.
We still did, yeah.
Yeah, because I just, like, it was rough.
How did we get behind then if you were working every single day?
I think a lot of videos were halves. Like I would do half of a video and then I'd have to pick up because, we'd have something going on the weekend and I'd have to go do that. And then I would pick up and do the other half of the video. So it felt like I was always, even though they weren't brand new videos.
Yeah, we did. We had, it was leading up to planting of the lindens and the boxwoods. And those were really large projects that we thought were going to be pretty simple.
They're multi-day projects.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of... it's nice to post every day or like close to every day. But then when you're like, well, we're halfway done with the lindens, you don't really want to end a video with a half done project.
No, you want to show the whole thing in the same video. Yeah. So anyway, finally got the garlic in the ground, and I only planted one 3x6 raised bed with that this year, really limiting the amount I'm planting of a lot of things this next year, as I would like a lot of it to be in the raised beds. Accessible, closer.
Yeah.
When I need a pepper for dinner and have to go all the way out to
it doesn't make sense.
It just doesn't, no. And then I moved in some Lonicera topiaries from in front of the greenhouse. They were just sitting outside. We moved them into the front sun porch, and I got some trees out. Those lit trees out on the front porch that day as well. Victoria said, would you ever get taller raised beds? That looks like hard work doing the garlic. Better late than never, I say, for the garlic. Oh, I would love to have some taller raised beds, but here's the deal. They either need to be the size they are now, or they need to be a size where I don't have to bend. They need to be like this tall. Like, I don't want to go in between. I don't want to have a weird size where I still have to get down on my knees to garden in it.
I think that you should just pick a material.
Just do them all tall.
Yeah.
It would look so weird with my picket fence out there to do tall raised beds. It wouldn't be a good look, but it would be.
What if you like roomed in the whole thing and did something real tall?
Don't tempt me.
What could you plant?
For what?
That would be like a hedge or something.
Oh, I don't know. Sting arbs.
Plant them every 1 foot.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I would really want to do that for sun exposure reasons.
Sure.
I mean, I always love the idea of a roomed-in space like that, like a little secret space. I don't know. I think I would like to have a strawberry bed built this next year because we took all the strawberries out. I want to build up a bed that's like not maybe quite this tall, but like maybe 4 inches shorter than this. Something to where even when I'm harvesting, I am not like crouching my back.
Sure.
It needs to be all standing at this height, which would take a lot of material to build. But like those raised beds that are like 2 boards high, like this high, some of them are almost actually more uncomfortable for me to work in.
Really?
And like sitting on the side of a bed to work in a bed, that would not work for me. I tried that at my parents. I'm like, nope, this isn't the size for me. I need them to either be short so I can get on my knees and it actually makes sense and it's comfortable, or tall enough to where I don't have to bend at all.
Sure.
I don't know. The idea of it is really nice though. Painting 1959 said, what kind of sealer do I use on my terracotta pots? Okay, well, I thought I had it in one of the drawers down here, but it's a Rust-Oleum gloss kind of sealer. I've done several videos where I've done some sealing, and it works really well. Katu said, thank you so much for sharing your gardening insights with every video. I have a question about the garlic. Why are you keeping the paper around the individual cloves? Does it keep them from rotting? Yes. It just adds that extra layer of protection around the clove. Diana said, I'm glad to see I'm not the only one getting my garlic in late. I planted mine about a week ago. We're in good company with one another. In my research to do so, it was advised to mulch it to protect it from winter cold. What is your opinion on that? I think as long as you're putting it at the right depth, you're good to go. Sarah said, just wondering where you got the initial doormat from. It's a lovely, classy addition. That is from Frontgate. I can't remember how much it was. Frontgate's usually kind of on the spendy side. They do run sales though. And that mat it never sees any weather. So it'll last a really long time. In fact, the mat I had there, it had like strawberries on it from 2 years ago and it still looked good. I still have it. Just thought, like the strawberry one needs to go. I need to put something else here. But it's nice to have a spot where things don't need to be replaced all the time. The one by our kitchen door, that gets junked up so fast.
A lot of traffic.
Yeah, I have to replace those a lot. Michelle said, what will you use to fertilize the garlic? Well, I put Biotone starter fertilizer in the ground when I planted, and then of course top dressed with land and sea compost. And then in the spring, I will follow up with like Garden Tone, most likely. And you can start in March, April, May, June. You can give them fertilizer. Park City said, what are the dimensions for the enclosed vegetable garden? I want to say that it's about 25 feet from the front of the picket fence all the way to the fence in the back behind the arborvitaes. And I was assuming that the arbs were going to be about 4 feet. So it would give me about 21 feet. So it's 21 feet of actual space where the raised beds are. And it's 53, I think, feet long. if I'm remembering that
Kind of
right.
a random number.
It's like 21 by 53. I kind of remember because I had to really play with the numbers, like the walkways in between and try to get everything to fit right. And I love that space. And we toyed with the idea of taking it out a couple of times. Our neighbors who live right behind us, they're going to build a shop next year, I think. And it'll be right up against the fence. And there is a lane. There's like a service road in between their fence and ours. And it will mirror their house, which they've got a beautiful house. So it'll be a beautiful looking structure. But we thought, well, it's going to seem like a looming.
Because it's 2-story.
Yeah, it's going to seem like a looming structure right there. So we could take out the raised bed garden, put in some big malad trees, and like maybe create more of a border right there so we don't see the top of it. I don't think it's going to be 2 stories. I think it's going to be 1 story with like kind of a bonus room with weird.
Isn't that 2 stories?
But it's not like 2 full stories and then a roof.
Oh.
If you know what I mean.
Sure.
It's like maybe a little bit of a bigger top.
Like a bonus room kind of a situation, as opposed to like a full attic.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's not like 2.5 stories.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Anyway, we toyed with that and I just don't know if I can do it.
Yeah.
I think I would rather live with looking at their nice shop. It's going to look nice. Than taking out that vegetable garden space. Is it such a sweet spot? And it's just one of those, I mean, the whole west side area was one of the first spots that I kind of did from scratch, you know, and there's something sentimental about it. I don't get sentimental about a lot. So like, I think I want to keep that space. And, you know, once this shop is in, if we're like, no, we'd really like to have some evergreens to look at instead, then we can do that at that time. But I'm not going to be in a rush to do that. Teresa said, does anyone but me recall Laura saying something along the lines of going light on the lights this year?
Nah.
I said that last year for sure. And we did go a lot lighter and we did all white Christmas lights. I thought I would enjoy it more than I actually did. I think I've grown accustomed to the like, I love the happiness, like the festive look of the multicolor lights. Some color blocks, we've eliminated any red color blocks, and I've enjoyed the color blocks a lot more this year. I don't think I like the all red. It's like too much.
Yeah.
But we definitely did not go light on the lights this year.
The thing that was keeping me from wanting to do more lights was the fact that we didn't have a gate. But now that we have a gate, you know, we've talked about this before. I feel kind of terrible a little bit that we do so many lights and then have a gate so people can't like enjoy them. But
the whole lane is private.
Yeah, it's private, and I just don't know who the people
like our
are.
Driveway.
Yeah, anybody who owns property knows the feeling.
Yeah.
There's a very uneasy feeling about people you don't know being on your property.
Yeah.
Because like the majority of people are nice. And that's great.
They just want to see the pretty lights, you know? Yeah.
Right. But we don't know the difference. And so that's
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I have to say I've been really enjoying it as well.
Yeah.
Having the gate up. And Emily said, love watching Douglas and Russell enjoying life. Is it okay to plant garlic in the same bed every season? I would rotate if you could, because what happens is, each different crop that you plant is going to take specific nutrients from the soil. And alliums, garlic, and onions are heavy, heavy feeders. So they're going to take a lot of nutrients out of the soil. Now, you can plant in the same spot every year. I wouldn't recommend that for like corn and tomatoes. There's probably a few others you should rotate. But with garlic, as long as you're adding back in a bunch of organic matter and using that starter fertilizer and compost, you should be okay. They should have plenty of nutrients to get up and get going and form up some nice heads. But if you're not amending the soil a lot for that type of crop, then I would consider moving it to a different spot every year if you can, just rotating it around. Susan and Vinny said, cannot get land and sea in Michigan. What else can we use in Michigan? Is there not distribution there?
I would assume that you probably could. I don't know. Some states, they're just hard to register every product, depending on the mixture. And it's not even, weird ingredients, but I know like some states you can't get phosphorus or, so
there's a lot of different brands out there. I just visit your local garden center and see what they recommend. Everybody's soil is different too. So what I recommend may not be as ideal for your soil type. So just see what they've got, and it'll probably work just great for you. Next video is we're still planting. Use shrubs, grasses, and a crabapple. And I'm so glad I got after that because it snowed. Was it the next day that it snowed after I planted?
Oh, was it?
Or no, it was 2
rained.
days.
Yeah.
It was 2 days after, but I was like, yes. Because the snow is kind of insulating to the plants, but it also, when it melts, it's watering everything. Right. So I was so happy about that. So we ended up planting the yews on the other side of that stone walkway that kind of goes from the house to where the high tunnel used to be out in the dirt lands. It looks so much better having that balance out there. And then I planted a Montana moss juniper, a dawn weeping redwood, a grass, an Apache rose panicum, and then what else did I plant? Oh, crabapple. We planted the sugar time crabapple. Oh my goodness, feels like a long time ago that I did that. C Stillwagon said, when you plant things after the drip is turned off, do you still run drip to them? No, we've actually stopped running drip to things after we've turned it off because oftentimes we rework drip in the spring. And there's multiple areas where we're going to be redoing the drip system, so we just don't go to the trouble of running it when it may not be exactly how we want it the next spring. So we'll just tackle all that in the spring. Luckily, we have kind of video proof of everything that went in. So we know what to go run drip to. Holly said, so exciting to be planting in November. Do you foresee a time when your gardens will be complete and you'll only need to do maintenance?
No.
No, because you get done with one area and then a big tree falls down.
Yeah.
Or a tree dies and you have to have it removed.
Like we just had the locust come out. We'll have to redo that.
Or you take out the raised bed garden because you decide you want to put that somewhere else. So, there's always things I think that you want to do, and we've got so much to do. Our list is so long. And we were actually we had pizza today. We brought in pizza for lunch. So Paul, Bethany, and Aaron and I were sitting around the table, and we were talking about the Hartley floor and how the stones that I chose, they're really pretty, but they are incredibly hard to clean. So I was talking about, well, maybe like at the very bottom of the list, like this is after horses, horse barn, all that. Maybe we pull those stones up because it's just like a patio floor. It's got like the road mix base and then sand and then the stones laid on top. Oh, thanks, bud. And so it'd be fairly easy to pick those stones up. And we thought, wouldn't it be nice to run some heat under that floor and then get some more uniform, more flat kind of stones to put in there so they'd be easier to clean. Anyway, so there's constant upgrades and changes that you want to make and you just can't at the time. Like we can't do everything we want to do. We've done a lot this year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We've done a lot. But, there's still, when you're acquiring new pieces of land and stuff, which I don't foresee us acquiring more land anytime soon. But when you're doing that, then it opens up whole different, huge amounts of projects. That sentence didn't come out right, but you know what I mean. Elena said, I saw a post on your Facebook from today with snow. So this is a video from another day, but yet it says 1 hour ago and you say it's a beautiful day. Are we in a parallel universe account? Well, we have to film at least 2 days before the video goes out because I have to film the video. We have to give our editor, Taylor, at least a day to edit it, and then it goes out the following day. And oftentimes, if I can, I like to be 2 or 3 videos ahead. Because that way I can relax on a weekend and I don't have to worry about weather because our projects are so weather driven, especially this time of year when we get like all of our weather comes in the fall, late fall through early spring, all the wind, all the rain, all the snow. It's like all encapsulated in that time frame. So like today, it's so crummy outside. I'm not going to film today. So if I go into a weekend knowing I only have Monday's video done, that is a bad feeling because what if we have horrible weather on Monday and I'm unable to get out? Well, then we get backed up another day. What if it's horrible weather on Tuesday? Usually there's stuff in here we can do and all of that, but I don't know. I just like to have that a little bit of a buffer. So we are usually a couple days behind.
And then we're an extra day behind on Facebook anyway, because the videos on Facebook go up a day after they go up on YouTube.
Sure.
So the way it works is that photo posts, and usually the reels that you make are like instant. So it's like almost always that's what has happened. Like you just, like you take a picture and you'll upload it and it's like instantaneous. But photos are like 2 or 3 days. And then on Facebook, it's even a day. Videos. Yeah.
We favor YouTube first. So YouTube videos go up first.
Yeah. If you want to follow, you'll find videos on YouTube first.
Yeah.
And then they'll disperse to like Twitter and
right.
Facebook and even TikTok and stuff. I've just been posting like long form videos on TikTok.
Who cares,
It's
right?
like if you want to watch them there, you can turn the screen and whatever.
It's better than nothing, right?
Yeah.
On there. Yeah. I like to be a little bit ahead, but not too far ahead because then it starts getting weird.
Yeah. You don't want to get more than like a week ahead.
Yeah.
But if you're like 2 to 3 days, that's fine.
Yeah. Nikki said, one of my favorite times of the day is watching your videos. Thank you. Can you please explain zones? I am a 10B and I'm a bit confused since it's hardly ever mentioned on tags because you are so warm. It's like a completely different realm of gardening. Does that mean that they would not thrive in my zone? So the zones are related to cold, basically, and what amount of cold a plant can tolerate. Also, the high end of that zone will tell you just how high it can go before the plant wouldn't be productive. So like if I had an evergreen, say, that was a zone 3 through 9, it would not survive in your zone because it needs to have the amount of cold hours it needs to be productive. It would need to be in a zone 9 at the very highest in order to get that amount of cold hours. If it bumps up into zone 10, it's not going to get that and it will not thrive in your area. And then the low end of that zone, the zone 3, is how cold tolerant it is. So it can go all the way down to negative 40, negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit, and then all the way up to whatever zone 9 is. Sometimes tags will list a heat index, like a heat zone range, which it's rare to see that, but usually the zone is referring to the cold.
But like on the high end, it's kind of like plants need to hibernate.
Yeah.
And so if they don't have enough chance to hibernate in the cold, then...
It's like tulip bulbs. If they don't get 12 plus weeks of temperatures below 50, they will not, it doesn't spur on bud production.
What's that called? Vernalization?
Vernalization, yeah. Yep. So like you would want plants that were rated like a zone 4 through 10 or a zone, 8 through 10 or 8 through 11 or whatever. I don't even know what it would be like to live in a zone 10. That would be a different thing, wouldn't it? Bish said, do you live next to the garden center? No, we live how many miles away?
Kinda.
Yeah, kinda. I mean, it takes us 3 minutes to get down there, 5 minutes maybe. It's close. Pam said, I love the Alaskan cedar. I'm wondering why you decided to wait to move the Maximilian sunflower. Well, it wasn't on purpose. I just forgot about it. And then it gets too late in the season. And you're like, well, I'll just give it this growing season. I'll let it do its thing, and then we'll move it. We'll see if it happens. Sometimes I feel like it'd just be easier just to get the auger in there and just tear up the root ball.
Oh, sure.
Just tear up what I don't want and leave the little section that I do. Because I can imagine what the root system is like on that plant. Whew. Sandy said, how many gallons does your blue water can hold? Is it available at your Garden Answer website? We don't have that one. That one holds 3 gallons. It's too much. We've got the 2-gallon ones, I think. The Dram 2-gallon ones. But the one I have, I do fill it up outside and I'll bring it in here and then fill up a little one. This is my preferred one actually to water with in here. So I'll just fill up whatever's biggest around here since I have to truck the water in here to do it. And then I'll set it here and fill up this one. And then I can go along and do my watering because I have more
precision. Control.
I was going to say focus. Focus with this one. Okay, next video was setting up and decorating the Hartley Christmas tree. That was a fun afternoon. That morning was much like this one. It was really blustery. It rained. It just poured rain for several hours in the morning. By the time I actually got out to do the tree, it was not as bad outside, but it was still gloomy, so it felt really cozy in there. And yeah, I love the tree. I love it. I didn't buy any new ornaments for it. Didn't buy any. This Christmas, I haven't bought a whole lot of extra things. I have upgraded. I have some slim Christmas trees in the house, and I had bought, Walmart has like some $49, I don't know if they're still $49, but they were when I bought them. $49, like 6.5 foot by 2.5 feet wide at the bottom Christmas trees. And I've been using those for years, but I felt like all the lights don't work on them anymore. And I thought this is the year I'd like to maybe not focus on buying a ton of decorations, but let's focus on upgrading trees. So I've bought a couple of new slim trees at Home Depot, and they look pretty nice. But in terms of like new stuff, I haven't bought a whole lot. I bought those amaryllis bulbs and I've bought a few ornaments, and that is it. Kind of feels nice. What?
Benjamin's outside in a coat and flip-flops and shorts.
Our kids, it's like they have internal heaters just like rocking.
His motto is, it's not even cold outside.
I know. And she's like, I don't need shoes.
Yeah.
The other day, it was so cold, and I was feeling like, should we really be out here? Because the wind was howling. I was in the high tunnels watering, and the kids were playing on that bank, the big hill. They like to play in the dirt back there. They get so gross. Like I have to lift Samantha up and lift her into the bathtub and hose her down. And at one point I went out there, I'm like, where are your shoes?
Yeah.
She had no shoes and socks on, and I had made her put on socks and shoes, not sandals, to go outside. They're just constantly in a state of undress.
Yeah.
So the Hartley Christmas tree. Susan Chapman said, do you add a timer for the tree lights? It's so pretty. No, not on that one.
24/7, baby.
Let it burn.
Let it burn all night.
Yep. Joyce said, beautiful tree. Now will you add a star or angel to the top? No. I actually don't like tree toppers all that much. Also, the chandelier in there would prohibit a tree topper. It would look like a cluster.
Oh.
If I added something, it would hit the chandelier probably, and it would look like too much of a gob of stuff. Maureen said, what a beautiful tree, made me think of Christmas. Well, that's good. I'm glad it made you think of Christmas. I discovered your channel this year, and you've inspired me to begin gardening. Are there any gardening books or magazines that you would recommend I put on my Christmas list? Any sources for flower pots? Books or magazines?
Victoria.
Well, yeah, magazines for sure. Victoria. English Garden and Victoria. Books, anything that Beverly Nichols wrote. I love his books. And he's got a series like Down the Garden Path. That's like a once a year read for me. I don't read a whole lot of other books. I have a ton of gardening books, and a lot of them I have never even cracked the cover of. They just are like pretty on the shelf. Donna said, whatever happened to your avocado tree? The big one, the little one died. The big one is still just rocking in the greenhouse. It looks really good. And the citrus, have you seen them?
No.
I should count the lemons on that smallest tree. I mean, I think that they're like sapping all the nutrients out of the leaves because the leaves are starting to look puny, but it's like loaded. It's heavy.
Are you
fruit.
supposed to
thin it?
thin it? Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to though because it's looking so glorious in there. Maynard Greenhouse said, you always do such a beautiful job on the Hartley tree. Thank you. Will you be showing your other trees? Maybe not a full house tour, but just the trees would be wonderful. I've thought about doing that. I still have some decorating to do. I was kind of hoping to have all of it done by the first part of December. The last things I want to do, one of you guys, and I have the name still on the box, but sent me out the most gorgeous nativity set. It's actually the one that my mom has. And I was stunned when it showed up. I've been so looking forward to getting that out. And I think I might create our mantle around that nativity this year. So there's a few things. I want to get the vintage tree set up in our kitchen and then the nativity on the mantle. And then I'll probably, if I don't add it into a YouTube video, I'll probably do little like shorts on Instagram and Facebook, little videos and stuff of what we've got up. I typically don't like to do a full, I don't know, like coming into the house. Sometimes we do videos in the kitchen, but it's a very focused on what we're doing. But doing a house tour, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just never usually keen.
I think it got a little weirder as time went on and our channel grew to like show more of the inside of the house. It just felt a little off.
Yeah, yeah.
And also with kids too. Mm-hmm. I don't know, your perspective on things just kind of morphs over the years.
Yeah. Also, the lighting is so hard in our house. It's hard. And I'm like a little bit weird about lighting because we have focused so much on trying to make things look okay, like outside filming. Mm-hmm. When you come in and it's super difficult to get good lighting, it bothers me. Patsy said, question, is that the same fig plant you had in the house when Benjamin was a baby? Yes. Yes, it was. In fact, I did a video where I took cuttings. Those are the cuttings off of that original plant. And I've got other cuttings in here. It's amazing. Jen said, what is the name of the Balsam Hill tree? That is the Sanibel spruce, the 7.5 foot size, or 7 foot it might be. Belinda said, what a gorgeous tree. Also, Paul and Bethany are stars. Do you think we'll ever get an interview with them at some point? Or maybe a video of a day of them in the gardens? Probably not, I'm guessing, but they are gems. So when I went out into the Hartley, I had anticipated and I had with me my paper towels and my cleaner, and I was getting ready to just do a full deep clean because it needed it horribly bad. I did it right before the dream stream, and then I hadn't touched it since then. And as I was going out, Paul and Bethany were just finishing cleaning. I had no idea that's what they were doing, and it was such a crummy morning. It was probably nice for them to have an inside project to work on, but they just decided that would be a good day to go do it. It just worked out perfectly, so I didn't have to clean. I loved it. MAA said, will you show us when you trim up the ivy topiary? I made one too, and mine is also looking pretty shaggy. Oh, I can. I mean, you just cut off the tendrils you don't want and kind of weave the other ones up into the topiary. It's pretty straightforward. Okay, last video from this week was dealing with a mealybug infestation and reworking a Christmas arrangement from last year. So I noticed, it's actually on one of these light stands in here, I had a shark fin rickrack cactus. And I see things in passing so often, but I don't like stop and really inspect plants like I probably should. And that one was just overcome with mealybugs, and I just did not even realize it because it's kind of under a light system too. So like I'd water it and move on and water the next plant and not really get under there and look at what was going on. So when I noticed that was going on, I started looking at all of our other plants, what else is afflicted. Like weirdly or oddly enough, nothing else in here had it. A few of the amaryllis had a little bit of mealybug activity. So I just thought it would be a good opportunity to show you guys the steps that I take when I have mealybugs. They're the worst. I have inspected that plant every day since we did that, so it's been a few days now, and I found one mealybug, and it was moving. It's
really?
Like, you probably saw me coming.
Yeah.
But I smashed it, and at that point, I did a re-inspect. I inspected everything, the soil underneath every single leaf, and I didn't find anything else, but I will need to spray it. I think I've got 2 days, and then I'll need to spray it again. So if you spray it, after you've cleaned the plant, and then do it again for like 2 or 3 sprays, a week apart from one another, usually you can get on top of it.
Do you alternate different sprays?
Not for that one. They're not like a mite. Mites are like those super bugs that will just like
eat it up.
Yeah. And then the reworking of the Christmas arrangement, I had a pot from last year that I put a rosemary, a cyclamen, this little blue, like, I don't know, it almost looks like sagebrushy looking plant from Trader Joe's, and a little poinsettia in last year. And I still had most of the plants in the container, but they needed to be torn apart and reworked. So we did that. Catherine said, do you fertilize the rosemary through the year? No. Did that one get fertilizer? That one maybe got a little bit in the summertime, but not throughout the year. Julie said, where in the house is the best place to put your repotted rosemary for the winter season? In a really sunny spot, close to a water source, so that you don't forget to water it. If I put mine in the house, I'd have to water it like every other day to keep it happy. And I'm not even lying. That's not an exaggeration. We have to water rosemary so much. We are a drier climate. We do heat with woods. We don't heat with wood primarily, but our air inside the house is just dry. Everything's dry. So you have to water them a lot. Sue Jones said, you mentioned spraying the plant with alcohol as an alternative to individually addressing each leaf. Does the alcohol kill the bugs or does it just clean off the leaves? It will help eradicate and kill the bugs. I am not as...
Spray with alcohol?
Yeah. So some people
really?
make some people I have read do straight alcohol. Some people make a diluted spray. You want to make sure if you do that. And the reason I don't is because I don't trust myself making up a mix. That's a homemade mix. I know that sounds bad, but like, I would rather use something that somebody else mixed up that's guaranteed to not kill my plant. But you want to make sure that if you try that method, which a lot of people swear by, not to leave it under a grow light or in a sunny window until it dries. You want to make sure it's like shaded and protected so that the alcohol wet on the leaves doesn't get sun exposure as well, because that can really burn them. I prefer wiping them down. I know it's more tedious and it takes a little bit longer, but hopefully you don't let your plants get to the point that mine was at. Then it won't take you as long. But honestly, like it took me 10 minutes. That's not too bad. I had music going and like I can just chill with my Q-tips and clean my plant, and it was like kind of fun. Angie said, thank you for what to look for when dealing with mealybugs and also a close-up of what they look like. Question, I love fresh herbs all year long. What are the best herbs to grow year-round in the house? Well, I have the best luck with rosemary, one, as long as you keep it watered enough. Basil, I actually have really good luck with basil, and I see so many people say, don't grow basil inside. As long as you have a sunny windowsill, I have a great time growing that. Parsley is a pretty easy one. I don't know what else. What other herbs do you guys grow inside? So many of my things are in the greenhouse, so I'm a little skewed. I don't keep a lot of my plants like on a windowsill in my kitchen where it'd be easier access, but a lot of stuff just ends up in the heated greenhouse. So we can get away with, usually I have a sage plant in there through the winter. I've got some oregano and chamomile still going for it. I'm thankful to have that space. Oh my goodness. And, maybe you can emulate a similar sort of environment inside your house. It's just that for us, that greenhouse, the humidity levels are so much higher than they are in the house. So it just keeps plants happier. Mavis said, every year I get scale on my bird's nest fern. Would you use the same treatment as for the mealybugs? Usually for scale, we try to clean all of them off, like with the mealybugs, not usually with alcohol. We just like clean them off with paper towels, just work on them. Get every last one you can find and then spray with like a neem oil. And I know I've sent a couple of citrus home with Bethany that I just like the scale had gotten out of control and I just thought, no, this isn't worth it. I'm going to pitch it, and usually she'll take it home, and what she does is just leaves it outside to the point where she thinks it's gonna die because it gets too cold. And usually, like last year, I think it was last year, she had a plant that she left outside that had scale. It froze, all the leaves fell off the plant, which got rid of all the scale, most of the scale. And then she brought it back in and cleaned off any of the other things she could find, replaced the top of the layer of soil, and the plant rebounded and pushed a bunch of new leaves and was healthy again. But usually like cleaning them off and then spraying with neem works out pretty good, pretty well. Sandra said, so gross. Wear your latex gloves when you're cleaning gross stuff. There's really not a gross thing I've met that I've needed to glove up for. I don't know. I mean, you grow up on kind of in a farm setting. Not a lot grows you out. I also worked at a vet clinic for 5.5 years. I saw a lot of gross stuff there.
What was the grossest thing you saw?
At the vet clinic?
Yeah.
Okay, so we had a dog. His name was Rolo. And he had a twisted... I can't remember what it's called now, like a twisted gut kind of a thing, and they had to do surgery on him, and the sutures came open. Ooh. Like it dehisced or something. I can't remember the right terminology, but I was the first one there that morning. So I'm holding the guts of this dog up into the dog on the phone with Lindsay. Like, you gotta, I mean, like, I don't know what to do here. I'm holding it together, but barely, you know. But it just, like, I don't know. I think adrenaline's running. I don't even think about anything.
Yeah.
You just try to help the situation. I think the grossest thing for me is puke.
Sure.
But even then, it's just like get enough paper towels and just don't look at it, cover it, and then scoop it up. You don't even see it. I know. It's kind of like the gloves that they sent with the Balsam Hill tree. I mentioned when we set it up in the Hartley, I'm like, oh, they sent all these accoutrements, but why would you need gloves?
Yeah.
My brain just doesn't go there. I realize that not everybody has as, like,
Yeah.
calloused up hands as me, probably.
I remember Benjamin puked one time after eating. You made him
Macaroni?
like some noodle macaroni.
Yeah.
I think you scooped him up and took him upstairs to give him a bath or something. And so I was downstairs with the puke, and like there was a moment that was like, should we move? We just like,
Can we just burn it
is
down?
Is this the end then? Like we just don't live here anymore, or you know?
That's so funny.
I cleaned it up.
Oh, we could go on and on with crap like that. Lisa said, where do they come from? I've had many on my plants before. They can come from outside. They can come from like contaminated soil. They can come from a different plant. They can come from a new plant that you have bought and you don't see anything, but maybe there's some eggs in the soil that you don't even know about. A lot of people, when they bring a new houseplant home, will preventatively spray the plant, like spray it down with neem or insecticidal soap, and then also spray the soil, just in case there's something there that you can't see. Michelle said, thank you for the mealybug information. Question, do you ever use systemic on the soil? I'm fighting for one plant that seems to attract the little buggers. Not on houseplants. I have never really used a systemic. We do outside. We have to use a systemic insecticide on certain plants so that it keeps the borers out. But inside, I really just haven't. Harity said, would it be easier to use an alcohol wipe for most of it and the Q-tip for the tight spots? Just wondering if that'd be okay. Absolutely. Great idea. I need to get me some alcohol wipes.
Yeah.
That would make it very handy. But again, I don't mind the Q-tip portion of it. Okay, last group of questions is from the last recap video. Krista said, a large red kneeling pad. Do you think it will fit in my stocking? Oh, we're supposed to pick winners.
Oh,
we're supposed to announce winners at the end of this. So what we're going to do, we're going to finish these questions, and then we will put all the entries into a random picker, and we'll get back on and let you know the names of everybody who's won. So Krista we asked you to tell us what size of kneeling pad and what color to be entered in the giveaway. Linda said, I would like the large hot pink kneeling pad. When will you be getting them in? So they will be in by Friday. I would like 5 in time for Christmas. Is that possible? Yes, it is. Also, I want to purchase these separate from your giveaway, and thank you for answering my question. So yeah, by Black Friday, which you can get it on the sale, we will have all those kneeling pads back in stock. Tisha said, love all your videos. Always watch for coffee time in the morning. Did you have an earthquake? Hope everyone's okay.
Nope.
We didn't. No.
I didn't hear of one nearby either.
No, I didn't either. I wonder where it was. I mean, maybe it was off the coast of Oregon. I heard about that one.
Oh, really?
We are on the opposite side of Oregon, so like
it's a long
10 and a half hour drive away from the coast. We're as far as you can get away from the coast.
Literally as far away.
Yeah, like you can see Idaho right out our window. Donna said, could you build a wood frame around the galvanized metal for the blueberries? I think that might save the berries from being disturbed. You could. Yeah. Make it like elevated a little bit. Yeah. Unless you like the metal look, which a lot of people do. And there's part of me that likes a little bit of it too.
It's honestly not that bad of an idea if you wanted to protect the wood too.
That's true.
To have like a little
galvanized
liner. Liner.
Yeah.
It's a really good idea.
Yeah.
If you like the look of wood but don't like the look of galvanized.
Right. Jay Smith said, I like the green small kneeling pad. Thanks so much for your imparting your knowledge. I just repotted the summer's geraniums for overwintering, and I'm glazing terracotta saucers. Curious, why not glaze the lip of the saucer also? You can. I just prefer all the shininess to stay on the inside so that the lip that you see the most matches the outside of the saucer. But it doesn't matter.
They kind of come that way too, don't they? Usually the glazed ones don't have a lip that's glazed.
Right. It just stops.
So you're kind of like matching the way you see it.
Maybe I just am used to that and seeing it that way, so I just naturally do it. Johnson family said, could you give us an update on the beautiful prairie rose crabapple? Well, it's in the ground. It did great all summer, so we'll have to give you an update next spring. I love that tree, though. Those flowers truly do look like rosebuds in the tree. They're so pretty. And the last question from Alice, do you have or will you put in another locust tree on your property since you loved it so much? Well, we have 3 other locusts that were here when we moved in, still existing. The one that split in half, that Aaron bolted, still, like, you can't say it's thriving.
No, it might pull through.
But it's alive. We've got one great big one in front of the house, and then we have planted 3 more. No, we've planted 6 more.
Yeah.
Yeah. We planted 3 Shade Masters and 3 Imperial Locusts.
And I think the plan is to plant at least 3 more next year around the play set.
Yeah. Okay, that's it, you guys. So really quick, I'm going to run through the Black Friday stuff again, and then we'll go pick winners. So from Black Friday, the Friday after Thanksgiving, through Tuesday, December the 3rd, 20% off all Garden Answer products, which includes Garden Answer augers, kneeling pads, and merch. 25% off all Greenstock planters and accessories. 15% off almost everything else in the store. If you want to be in on the deals early, so Monday, November the 25th, you have to sign up from the link in our description for our email, and then you'll get all that information early. You also, I think the email, we send out information early on other things too, other sales and such. So that's, I guess, the benefit there, but I hate asking for that kind of stuff. So like, that's like my one time, Ken. My one time I will say, put in your email, because I hate it when people do that. So anyway, let's go pick the winners, Aaron.
Okay.
All right, guys, we are back. Aaron put all the comments from the recap video last week into a random YouTube comment picker website. And here are the 5 winners. We've got Tanya Nelson, 2202, Kathy Meyer, 6086, Patricia Dorman, 382, Lisa Orr, 1884, and Carrie's 1830. So congratulations to all 5 of you. Aaron, you said you hearted their comments as Garden Answer highlights. Mm-hmm. And did you reply to their comment as well? Okay.
Telling them to email us with phone number, full name, and address.
So if you don't see all of those things, and if I did not just read your name, if somebody else comments on you looking like us, because it happens a lot, it is a scam. So you must be one of the 5 I just named, and we will put those names down in the description of this video as well, just so you can verify. But don't fall for any of the weird scam stuff that goes on, please.
Also, we never ask for money. We always just ask for like name, basically the same information you would need to ship an item. Yeah. It's like it usually is required, like a phone number, an address, and a full name.
Yep.
That's all we're asking for.
Yep.
So
no credit card information. Anything like that. So anyway, congratulations to the 5 of you guys. I hope you enjoy your kneeling pads. And that's it, you guys, for this week's recap video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a really wonderful Thanksgiving, and we'll see you in the next video.